Alright there guys, thanks for watching again. I'm going to go ahead and try to make a quick video here, as quick as possible, being that I got limited time this afternoon, but just kind of putzing around. It's a beautiful day. I've got all these sheets of, all these spare sheets and scraps of Kydex from all my Kydex playing adventures, and I still got plenty more down here. Lots more 1x2 foot sheets. Because I got this extra big sheet still, and I was like, you want to know what? Haven't played with my ESEE 5 in a long time. If you guys have any interest in this knife or the specifications, I'm not going to go through a whole review on this. I'm just going to try to duplicate or replicate the stock ESEE 5 sheath that it comes with. And if you've seen one of my most popular video with over 16,000 views, it's the modifications that I did to this sheath. But just for fun today, I figured that I would go ahead and try to duplicate in Kydex as a .80 thickness Kydex, make a ESEE 5 sheath. So let's see what we got going on here. I might have to do some adjustments and stuff, but I'm gonna move some stuff out of the way. First thing I'm gonna do is figure out on shiny side in, of course, and a pretty decent sized holster with fold over. I'll use my white colored pencil to kind of give me an idea as to where I want the knife to be placed. Now I'm thinking for this holster too, I do want to add or incorporate in a belt clip, where this the stock one, the belt clip kind of comes as an attachment that you screw onto it. This I'm going to make out of one piece of Kydex, so I'm just going to add a belt loop incorporated into the top, and I'm just going to leave a whole bunch extra then back on the back end and not make it a flush. Like you can see here, they just molded the Kydex sheath and then you get a clip plate to play around after it. I'm going to do both in one, so I'm going to leave the back pretty high. I'm going to make a cut right there, I believe. This is all just winging it. I haven't done this before. Really love that knife. 1 pound of knife. And let's see. Looking at this sheath too, it looks like they had some kind of a block for the reinsertion part of the knife. So I might have to come up with something for that quick. I think. Where else is that retained? Oh, that is the only retention spot that I can see. So, might have to, might have to get creative here. Let's see. Some tape. And what do I got lying around? Oh, let's try that. That's actually a pretty good size. This is just a little, one of my grommet sets, or my eyelet set that I got from Knife Kits. That actually fits pretty well. Let's see if I can make some magic happen. I'm not sure if this is going to work at all, but I'm just going to tape that on there. I've seen this trick used many times by other Kydex guys. They use a lot of blue tape, a lot of green tape, and kind of make a mold out of it. And the heat from the Kydex will actually press this a lot finer. I'm not going to worry about the tape lines or the tape sticking up in any of those spots. It's going to definitely heat that up to press in there. So let's see if this works. I'm kind of curious. Alright, I'm going to make an initial first cut and get this material out of the way. Give it a little snappy poo. So there we go. That's what I'm going to work with. Just like that. Now, I am going to be limited too by the size of this sheet of Kydex in my oven. My oven is actually not that deep, so I'm going to see if this will work. I just kind of close the oven and see if it heats up like that. You see there is a little space in the top, but the oven light is on, so we'll see when it starts getting warm. Of course, it should fold over. The other option, as I mentioned in one of my older Kydex building videos, is that you'd always use a full-size oven, like the oven you have in your kitchen, but it's really not a bad idea, or really not a good idea. Kydex really stinks, and you don't want that stuff. You don't know what's in it and what's going to leach in and stick to your oven and leach into your food the next time you use your oven, so use a retired oven. On one I got, like I mentioned before, was from is a hand-me-down. No longer really safe to use, so I'll have a sip of coffee here and wait for that piece of Kydex to warm up. I'm actually really happy with my progress so far in making Kydex holsters and sheaths and stuff. I do have another idea here, just a little time fill. I've seen some of my shield Kydex holsters. I have this idea where I did a flat press for a shield holster for a firearm holster, and I did the flat back because what I want to do, and this is just a prototype, I'm going to work this piece again, but what I want to do is have that flat back piece so I can add hook Velcro. So this could be a CCW style holster that has a Velcro backing made out of Kydex, super lightweight, super streamlined and thin, for your everyday carry bags. So I'm going to be working on that, see what happens there. And the oven actually just snapped shut, so that means that piece of Kydex is warmed up. Oh yeah, use my laser thermometer here. We're at 282 right now. So the magic number we're looking for again is it's between 300 and 350 degrees. I'm going to show you guys again how I use my my mocked up Kydex press. I got my neoprene rubber here. Check out my last video if you want to see actually the last one I think was like 38 minutes long on my my shield holster process. And that actually got cut short, so I'll take another temperature here quick. Alright, we're at 313 in that spot. 329 over there. 297 on that side, so I'm going to call that close enough. Bring my knife over here. Put my gloves on because this Kydex is 300 degrees. Take my one piece of foam out. Working really quickly here. Oh, bummer. My foam sheets aren't big enough. Alright, backup plan. Completely impromptu, not planned. Use the bigger sheets. That's about where I want it. As far as I can tell. Just gonna add another piece of foam down here because it's so uneven. Tighten this bad boy down. Sure I kinda got it where I want it. So those backup pieces of foam, usually I like to keep the foam a little bit warmer. This is why I put these neoprene discs on top of the oven so it warms up so it doesn't shock the material when you put it on a cold surface. But yeah, this is kind of an impromptu let's wing this and see what happens kind of video. So there's those two clamps. I'm going to actually add an additional clamp on this side because I did bulk it up with this extra disc. The handle, the knife is so very thick. Make sure I get a good press on the blade side. Alright, oh crap. Hopefully most of that was still in frame. So there's my press. there's my press. I'll let that cool off for just a few seconds, so probably more like a minute, and we'll see what we got when we pull it out. And of course, I'm not sure, well, I might as well just keep on going and make the whole thing. I would like to incorporate in the sheath. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it yet. I haven't found a good way to do it. But what I'd like to incorporate here is all the aspects. Eventually, this will be a prototype of first draft, kind of, but what I'd like to do is have the slide. I don't have any of this hardware right now, but I'd like to incorporate the slide lock that they incorporated, as well as the same size and placed eyelet holes for their stock mounting options. But I'm not going to take this apart, and I don't have an extra SE5 right now that I could just look at for reference. But maybe I'll try that. For right now, let's just do the press, and I'll make some eyelet holes, and we'll see where we're at. But maybe in the future I'll try to do it again exactly to the same specifications with the same requirements as that stock sheath has. Alright, I think we probably got a pretty good form. Might have shocked it, but it's not perfect. I can always redo it. Let's try to keep this video short. I know most people, researching my own analytics and such, most people only pay attention for the first couple minutes of the video. If they're not interested, they move on really quick. So I try to keep my videos short. You guys want to see short videos. Let's see what we got. You know, not too bad. Not too bad. Let's see here if any of this picks up. So I got a good mold out of it. I'm not happy with this top edge. Shit, which means I'm going to have to redo this. I wanted the actual kydex to meet the blade all the way down. And it's kind of lopsided too, so you can see that. Maybe I'll try again in a different video. Shucks, that didn't work. I'll have to redo this whole thing. Alright, so I redid the sheath. I wasn't happy with the overhang on this side. I got that a lot better pressed in there. As you can see, the form took a little bit better too than that last example, and that the chuck, or the little the set that I set in there and taped on there, provides some nice definition, kind of that relief, so you can get that that retention point of this knife sheath is going to be up here on that the very end tip, this part right there of the handguard, and also known as where a choil would be, but there's no choil on this particular SE5. So your main finger usually goes down here, but again, for the purposes of trying to duplicate that that open space right here, this space right here is the space I'm talking about, trying to duplicate, so the knife slides in and out easily without getting, I mean, that's how you're going to put the knife back in the sheath. So just kind of did that. I'm going to have to take off a little bit of material so you can open it up to the widest point. You can see this point right here, so the knife slides in and out. But we'll get to that point in a little bit. What I do want to do is make this a minimalist version of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill and tap some holes. I'm going to set, I think, at least 2 of my eyelets in here. Shave this down a little bit, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to incorporate the Altoid survival tin into this same sheath. At least this is the experiment that I want to do, because again, I don't have the resources or the blank sheath to play with. This one's, I'm not going to mess around with, but I do want to make a press and hold this form of the Altoid survival kit on the outside of the sheath. So I'm going to try doing that part next, and we'll see what I come up with. Well, as you can see, I've gotten completely off track. Instead of attempting to make a duplicate, which I will try to do again sometime, instead of doing a duplicate, I decided to just go ahead and keep on playing around with this kydex and make a completely custom holster. So what I did is I incorporated an Altoid survival tin. You guys have seen those before. If you haven't, look them up. Made a little fold over pocket out of that back sheet of the kydex. It's just one piece rolled over, and kind of tuck the corners in, kind of like you'd fold a present. And the knife actually has a pretty decent retention. and it's really not coming out of there. So that retention point right here held up really well, and then that Altoid survival can kind of locks into place. It kind of fits right over that inside rivet on the inside. I'm not sure, you probably couldn't see that anyways, but it actually holds in there really well too. So you can see that. So here's just me screwing around with more Kydex. You probably add a little belt groove back here and kind of punch that out so I can put it on my belt, and some kind of retention, maybe a shock cord wrap or a paracord wrap around this side, and we'll see what comes of it. But this is a project for today, messing around with Kydex, duplicating, or I was starting to duplicate this ESEE5 sheath, but ended up making something completely my own. So I'm not sure if anybody's incorporated an Altoid survival kit into a Kydex sheath, but there you go. Here's Red Tail Ray messing around with his Kydex.